Good morning, everybody. So today I'm actually working on this space, and I'm still completely in love with this space. It was really cool coming up this morning, walking in here and seeing that finished. There was a suggestion of painting this part of the window black, which would really go with the black, you know, because they're black framed windows, and then having the finished out live edge. So I may end up doing that. I do still need to fix those areas up there, and that's going to take some filler wood, so I'll be working on that again today. I'm wanting to finish this area today, and then either tonight or tomorrow I'll start working on the coffee station, and then that'll get this whole little corner done and usable so that I can stop shifting things around, because I literally had to take everything that I had set on top of here and shift it to the other side of the shipping container so that I can work in this area. So this is the one that I got upside down. See if I can get it pulled out. I found it was at Walmart for like $15, and it is an outdoor light, but I think it would fit, like this section would fit in that section that's up there, because it is a weird area. So that is definitely causing me some pause. Obviously I can't nail the bracket in. I can't do that, so it's just gonna have to free float, but it does like squeeze in there, so it's definitely not code. But I think that I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Gosh, I don't know. I really don't know, and I can't wait for you guys to tell me what you think. They really do have some really cool battery lights that would work that I could put there. If I needed to, like, have light. So I really am contemplating just not putting a light there and enclosing all of this up and being done with it. It's probably what I'm gonna do. Well, I totally thought I was filming and I wasn't, but I went ahead and added the electrical to those two things, and well, that's where I'm at. So last week I told you that I wanted to share my journey through AA and my sobriety story. And I know that this topic can be triggering for some people that are not alcoholics but have alcoholics in their family, and how difficult it is to deal with us because we are absolutely unmanageable. And that is what step one talks about. Step one is we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable. And that's not even unmanageable for us, it's unmanageable for everybody around us. And you know, this is my story. This is the journey that I had through my personal life and through the steps that I have done. Everybody's story is not going to be the same, and kind of the whole purpose behind sharing it and being this brutally honest is it helps other people. And I do have to say that living up here in the mountains, that is one thing that I miss, is my AA community that I was in when I first got sober, which was over in Washington. And you definitely have to change absolutely everything to get and stay sober. That's what it was for me. That's what I did. It was really difficult for me, as I think for it is for many alcoholics, to admit that my life was unmanageable, because I really felt like I was managing it. And the examples that I had in my life were of people that I believed were alcoholics. My mom, my stepfather, my biological father. I wasn't an alcoholic as long as I wasn't doing the things that they were doing. And I think that's a really big misconception for us. I'm not an alcoholic because I'm not on Skid Row. I'm not an alcoholic because I don't live under a bridge. I've kept my job. I've not lost my house. I've, all of those things. And I think that's why it makes it just so difficult, because we do compare ourselves to other people, and we use that as the excuse of, I don't have a problem with this because I'm not them. And I know that definitely kept me from getting sober for a very, very long time. My sobriety date is 7/11/2015, and man, I just wish I would have figured it out sooner. I really do. There's just so many things of life that wouldn't have been so hard, but I'm so grateful that I did figure it out, because I have the example of my mom who did not, and my biological father who did not. And, my stepfather did go to AA. He went for 1 year and he didn't go again. And he was just so angry all the time until he died. And he wasn't drinking alcohol, but he definitely was not sober of mind. He was not happy, healthy individual. And, those are the examples that I had. And I knew that I did not want that life. I did not want to be angry. I did not want to still exclude my life from everybody's life, because that's what I did. It took a really, really big heartbreak for me to find my bottom. And because I had bouts of sobriety throughout my life. So, I would think that I'd gotten my life under control, and then I would be like, well, I can just have a glass of wine, or I could just, it usually started with, I can start brining my food with beer or wine or whatever. And, and then that would lead down to, oh, well, there's just a glass full left in this bottle and I'm going to drink that. And then, fast forward months later, and my life is unmanageable. I'm not going to tell you my drinking stories, because I just don't feel that this is a place to share that. And I think it would cause more harm than good. So, I'm just going to tell you my story through the steps. And one of the hardest things that I think I had to do, besides admitting that I was unmanageable and that I couldn't do that, was the sponsorship. I had to give somebody permission to tell me things that I did not want to hear, and know that and believe that they were doing that to help me. I think that's probably the thing that I struggled with the most, and probably still do. I'm not even going to say probably, I absolutely do. So I get into AA, and I was suicidal. I did not want to participate in life anymore, and I was just so broken. And I believe 100% that I had to get to that place so that I could say my life was absolutely unmanageable, because at that point I couldn't do anything to be okay. I couldn't read self-help books. I couldn't fix my diet. I couldn't, if I just get this hobby to do, then I'll be fine. Or I couldn't do those things. I could not function. And it was because my heart was just so broken, and my answer to that broken heart was to drink. And I did that for a few months. And was pretty non-functioning for a few months, and then had made the decision over a course of a few things happening and to go to AA. And I remember just being, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be around these people. I had the example of my stepfather's steps and just how mean he was. But I also knew that I wasn't going to make it and I wasn't going to live, and I didn't want to. I just didn't want to. I was done. I did not like how life was. And, if you've gone through this with somebody, my heart just hurts for you. The damage that we do to the people around us is just so, so heartbreaking. For those of you that have not been following my channel, my mother did end up committing suicide, and as hard as that was to live through, I knew what that looked like for my son. And I absolutely did not want to do that to him. So I was willing to step into these rooms that I did not want to be in and take advice from people that I did not want to take advice from. Because absolutely everything that I did not work. And I needed to try something different, because the definition of insanity is to continue to do the same exact thing over and over again and expect a different result. And for 40 years, that's exactly what I did. 42 years, that's exactly what I did. And so I stepped into the rooms of AA and I did what they said to do. And for somebody who is extremely strong-willed person, and I totally believe that I've got this. Like, I've got this. I can make this on the outside look like I've got it all together and that I'm handling everything really well. And, I was a single mother and I was running my own business, and I had a house and a farm and milking goats and, all of those things that I dreamed of doing and being. I was doing them, but I was definitely not doing them sober. And to be able to take this step and look at it and break it down. This is the one thing that my sponsor, was so good at, was you cannot do this on your own, and that's okay. And I've already done this. And so I can show you what it looks like and let you know that those feelings that you're having are normal, and that's okay that you're having them. And let's walk through them together. Let's process them so that you don't have to continue to do this over and over and over again. As a new person in sobriety, I felt so out of control. And that was really difficult, because I really liked control. I liked my life of being in charge of my own life. Well, I realized, coming to and admitting, that I absolutely did not have everything under control. It looked good, again, like I said, on the outside, but on the inside, I was such a mess. And I truly had no self-worth, and I never thought that anything that I did was good enough, and all of those things. And I truly, truly felt like a train wreck. And I ended up pushing everybody away from me, to where my family wouldn't come over, and, my friends, I just did not allow friends to come over. I didn't really have friends. I kept people very far away from me, because I did not want them to get that real look at who I was. And because even though it looked good on the outside, it definitely did not look good on the inside. And I truly believe that everybody could see the inside. And so, coming into the rooms and truly doing this step, I think there was always a part of me that was like, no, I can control this. I've got this. And admitting powerlessness over alcohol. And you can substitute the word alcohol for anything: relationships, food, finances, just anything really. And that's what I have to do in my life. When I find myself grabbing a hold of something and trying to absolutely control it, I have to remember the step that I can't do that, and believe that. Now, everything in my body, everything in me says, no, you can. And then I have to say, no, you can't. my brain lies to me on a regular basis, telling me you can do that. You can prove that you can do that. And if you prove that you do that, then you're worthy. And I have to stop and say, no, my brain's lying to me. And I have to go back to this step and I have to say, I'm going to believe this step, that I cannot control this, and that I'm completely unmanageable when I try. And the only thing that I can do to get through this is to follow these steps, to follow this step. And you know, the other steps in AA, they help you out with who is in control and all of those things. And so there is absolutely a way out. But as an alcoholic, and not an alcoholic that was on Skid Row, you know, I was not homeless. I had money in the bank. I had a home. I was raising my child. My child had not been taken away from me. And something that came across me on a regular basis was people saying, yeah, but you weren't that bad. You weren't that bad. So do you have to do AA for the rest of your life? Can't you just have one drink? Oh, you can cook with alcohol. It burns off the alcohol. Yeah, when you're making your vanilla, your extracts, you use alcohol, you know, so you can do that. You'd be fine. You wouldn't drink that extract, would you? Those are literally all questions that I've heard, and it makes it very easy for someone like me to say, well, yeah, obviously I wouldn't drink extract, or sure, it burns that off. But it goes back to this first step of, I had to truly believe that I was powerless over alcohol. And that includes alcohol and cooking for me. That includes alcohol and extracts. That includes all of those things, because my brain lies to me. And I don't have any control when I drink. So I have to battle this on a regular basis because society says these things are okay. Well, I finished getting the shiplap behind the kitchen sink. It looks amazing, and it definitely filled in that hole. I've got to get it painted. I'll do that in the morning. So this edge, which is really wonky, I'm probably going to bring it out to here, and I need to put in a 2x4, but I've mentioned before that I'm not going to do behind the wood stove until this summer, when I can pull the whole wood stove off. I'm really thinking about getting a smaller wood stove. This one kind of heats me out of house and home. There's a lot of times I'm just opening windows. I guess it would be better to be too hot than too cold. I'm gonna hang out in the barn. Everybody? Is everybody? Hold on. Is everybody in here? Hi. Do we have any sheep in here? Where are the sheep? No, just goaty goats? Well, they've been talking about the snow for a couple of days. We could possibly get up to 4 feet. Where are the goats? Where the sheep are? Probably over there in the trees. Oh, I hear them. Yep. Are you peeking at me? Darla? Hi, girly. But I thought I'd show you guys the snow that's coming down. Can't tell if you guys there. Now you can see it. So I've had kind of a lazy morning. I don't know. I have a tendency to do that. I have a tendency to have a big day where I get a bunch done and then I do a day of rest. You guys, get inside. Who am I to talk? I'm out here in a t-shirt. But it actually doesn't feel really cold. I don't know what the temperature is. But I've got enough and it's warm inside. So let's get in there and just let me show you what we're doing today. Okay, so it's actually like 83 in here. It's fantastic. And I finished this area yesterday and I love it. And the wood stove is going strong. I am going to have to fill up some more firewood here, but I still have all of that. Well, overnight, we got a bunch of snow. Walk you guys out to the edge of the world. I am actually feeding animals, and yes, it's in my pajamas. Because are you really a homesteader if you don't do your chores in your pajamas? Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I'm so glad I don't have to leave the mountain. I love when the snow sticks on the trees. It's so pretty. But cold. It's about 28 degrees out here, so I'm going back inside where I have my warm fire going. And so I have to buck the system and say, no, I have to do these steps every day, and this has to truly be a part of my life. Every day for every situation. Now, I fail all the time. My emotions will get out of control and I will be emotionally compromised is what I like to say. and I will literally tell people, I cannot have this conversation with you because I'm emotionally compromised. Let's come back to it. And I have to do that because, again, usually on the outside, things look good, but on the inside, I'm a train wreck. I really had to look at what did it mean to be powerless. To be powerless to me meant that I could absolutely, under no circumstance, control my drinking, the way I felt about things, the way I responded to things when I was drinking, any of that stuff. And I had this just humongous hole in the center of my chest, and I was trying to fill it, and I was trying to fill it with anything that would make me feel okay. And definitely in sobriety, I feel that happens still. And that's why this is a continuous lifelong program. And it definitely gets easier. But I have to remind myself, no, Heather, you're powerless. You're powerless over this. I was really lucky. I don't want to say lucky. I want to say blessed. I was really blessed with the sponsorship that I had that let me know that this was the only step that I had to do perfect. I had to remind myself on a regular basis that I am powerless, because it'll definitely look like, oh, okay, I've got it together. Like I'm doing this. Like I'm doing this thing called life, and I don't need to do the things that I normally do to, stay emotionally sober. It takes about 7 days, I think it is, to get all of the physical effects of alcohol out of your system. And after that, I was working on emotional sobriety, because I drank when things were hard. I drank when things were good, a celebratory glass of wine or bottle of wine. Or my heart is absolutely broken and I'm gonna run away from it. Finding that emotional sobriety on a daily basis, I have to remind myself that I can't control my drinking. I can't control my emotional life on my own. So that includes, for me, that means that I have to allow people in, and I have to give somebody permission to say, hey, Heather, you're doing this thing. This looks like a relapse to me because I've been there and I've done this, and I have years of sobriety and I have years in the rooms of AA watching people, and then I have to believe them. And I have to not say, oh, well, I'm different than they are. I can handle this. This is fine. And you guys, I am not perfect. I absolutely fail every single day. And it's only because of the grace of God that I get to wake up the next morning and start all over. I remember going into the rooms of AA and hearing people say I'm a grateful alcoholic. And I was like, why would anybody want to be grateful that they're an alcoholic? Like, how could you be grateful that you're an alcoholic? And I've come to realize with my 8.5 years of sobriety that I never would have done these steps if I was not an alcoholic. And these steps improved my quality of life so much that I actually get to have a life. I actually get to love people. I get to do these things that I never would have done before with the feelings that I have now if I had not been an alcoholic. Because I did everything else. I did therapy. I read self-help books. I did all of those things, and they did not help me. I'm really happy, probably 80% of the time in my life. And that's a really big change. And I want that for everybody. I want that for everybody. My heart just wants all of us to be happy at least 80% of the time of the day. And that's the whole purpose behind sharing my story, sharing my steps, and sharing what I'm doing on this homestead with you, because we get to have a life. Well, I'm really excited to have this part done. The next thing is I will finish painting the coffee hutch, and it's going to be put up right here. And it's really cool because I pulled the back off of that, and so you'll get to see the shiplap behind it. But I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me and for supporting me. I really truly appreciate you. If you're not subscribed, I hope you'd subscribe, and if you really liked me, give me a thumbs up and a comment below. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel out a lot. So thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.